am Sydney McMahon, and I am here in the Wallingford Center Street graveyard to figure out is the face in the building of 114 to 116 Center Street has any correlation with the two graves it overlooks of the last two women, a mother and daughter, accused of witchcraft in Connecticut, and possibly even New England.
My name is Adam Benzinon, and I'm here with Sydney McMahon. We're talking about witches today.
I actually found out this story from an old teacher of mine. I love you, Mr. Zanotto, but you probably will never see this. He was my old Latin teacher, and the reason why she brought it up is because a particular building in Center Street, Wallingford, had Roman numerals.
Okay.
And a weird face on it.
So tell me, why is that significant?
It is significant to me because that face, the Roman numerals in front of it, it is a face depicted of supposedly the devil. And the thing is, why I'm kind of interested in it, it's because it looks as if it is directly looking down on the graves of the last two people in New England accused of being witches.
Okay, so are you saying there's a face on the building?
Yes, in Center Street, Wallingford, on 114 and 116 Center Street.
Okay.
There, in a brick building, is a face depicted of a devil with the Roman numerals of 1829 on it.
When you say face, it's like painted, or is it like...
No, it is carved into the stone.
I see.
Where possibly it was done in parts or taken multiple months during its own construction or even building.
The next part of the sentence, you said it was staring at the graves of the last
Yes.
people. Run me through that.
Yeah. Usually through kind of historic towns like this, you'd have multiple buildings with the same kind of architecture, the same kind of like specific styles. But that is the only building in Wallingford that does have a face like that, and it is staring right at graves. The people buried there are the last two people, a mother and daughter, accused of being witches in Wallingford and New England as a whole. Their names are Winifred Benham and her daughter, Winifred Benham Jr.
They chose the least convenient one to
Yes.
join her in these accusations because they shared the same name.
Yeah, and she was
but...
the youngest too. She was only 13 when she was brought to trial with her mother.
Wow.
And the thing is, her mother, that was the third time being brought on trial for being accused of witchcraft.
So, I'm really interested in understanding how Winifred Benham, why she got accused of being a witch, because I know that happened a lot back then, but
Yes.
What did she do?
It was kind of an escalation, because one woman was badgering her, kind of bothering her a lot, and so in order to protect her, her husband threatened her with a shotgun.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So standing up for his girl.
Yes, it was. He loved his wife, I bet. Because they
Yes,
also had like 5 children.
Yes, perhaps some anger issues as well.
A little bit. Yeah, during that time, I bet there was like a lot of fear. Like your wife, she could be like on the fence of being accused or just being left alone, and I bet he was kind of scared for it.
So this woman that he threatened with
a shotgun.
Did she accuse Winifred first before he threatened her? Yes.
It was 5 years later that she was actually brought to a trial.
Okay.
I've actually found the court transcripts of it too. It's over in Hartford.
I'm very interested in that because I know a little bit about the trial. I know that like it was happening at a time period in Connecticut history where witch trials were kind of going out of vogue.
Yeah, it was the decline. I think from 1606 to 17 something.
16. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so from my notes, what I have is that the first person executed in the U.S. for witchcraft was hanged in, I think, 1647.
Oh, wow.
So very early on.
Yeah.
And then it ended up disappearing as a capital crime in 1750.
I was able to get a lead going to the town hall's assessor's office, where I'll be able to see the records of who owned the building and hopefully when it was actually made. I got too wrapped up in the conversation. 2 very nice ladies. They didn't actually know kind of what the correlation was. One of them didn't even know that there was a face on the building. But the ladies at the real estate company, they pointed me to the library, Wallingford Town Library, or the assessor's office. I'm now walking into the town hall looking for the assessor's office.
So you actually found the trial.
I found the transcript.
Ooh, that's very interesting.
I did.
We'll definitely have to come back to that because there are so many questions I have about this.
The reason why I actually found it is because it was in our Ancestry.com kind of profile.
Really?
I scrolled all the way down. It showed different documents, like their marriage documents down at the courthouse where they got married. And I found their transcript.
That's so sick. There's
Not
so
the
much
same
there
thing,
because,
yeah.
and I think they take it from other like archival
and it's
things.
such a wealth of information too. You
Yeah.
can find a lot too.
But it's, you know what? I've
It's
never
like-
thought about using it for a historical figure.
No,
Like
yeah,
that is-
definitely.
that is really impressive that you got
Yeah.
that information.
Yeah, I was ecstatic when I found it, and I was
Yeah.
really happy because I wouldn't have found it in anything else.
Yeah.
Because the only articles, it's only about Witch of Wallingford.
Yeah.
Oh, she was accused of witchcraft. There's nothing about her trials or her transcripts.
The nuance doesn't seem to be very present in kids. So even for me, I don't have much information other than I know she was the last person to be accused of or to be brought to trial.
Her daughter.
Her and her daughter. True. That is true. Her daughter. Can't
Yes.
forget about her daughter. So what I understand, right? That's the last time witchcraft was brought to trial.
Yes.
Can you tell me? So you were saying that it was the third trial for Winifred.
Yes, it was. Because she was originally tried, but they didn't really find any evidence or nothing really good enough from the witnesses to actually trial her or actually accuse her kind of concretely of either being a witch or not a witch.
That's crazy because in those times you could just kind of like look a little quirky and that was enough evidence.
Yeah,
But-
like see a bird in
Yeah.
a courtroom, like in one play.
So what evidence was there and was there not? Like what were they looking for? Because obviously it's just this lady being like, you are a
Yeah,
witch.
the only evidence though
Yeah.
was in the third trial where she was accused along with her daughter, where they were 4 teenagers. I actually wrote them down.
Oh.
Mr. John Most,
Okay.
Mr. Samuel Lathrop, Mrs. Elizabeth Lathrop, and Mrs. Sarah Clark.
Y'all are being called out right now.
They
okay?
really are.
Wherever you are, buried probably, but
And they accused Miss Winifred
Mm.
of cursing them with black dots on their skin. And they actually used the death of an infant for evidence too, claiming that the infant also had black dots.
so black. When we say black dots, do we mean freckles or do we mean
Black
like,
dots. I'm
like
thinking
what-
maybe bruises or something, like blemishes on the skin.
Okay.
Because I think if black dots, maybe they could have been using charcoal or any kind of ash to color their skin like that.
Oh, that would have been easy enough. That's crazy.
Yeah, because it was kind of crazy back then. People were accusing others just so their name could be in the paper, or I think for property. I remember hearing rumors about that people who were accused by others, and if they were found guilty, the people that accused them got their property. It could be land, livestock, anything about that, anything that made a person kind of wealthy during that time when it was only the barter system.
Yeah.
Like, that was really kind of a big thing because with how much land you owned, that was pretty much how much you were worth in a community.
So it's just like the modern equivalent of suing somebody, I guess. Is calling them
Yeah.
a witch, except they die. If you win, they die.
Like-
Thankfully, they didn't win.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Yes, so actually, she and her daughter were given the water test. If you don't know what the water test is, it is when you are, I guess, brought to a river, brought to a body of water, and stones are tied to your feet. In order to be described as a witch or anything with the water test, you need to float. That was like a description of who witches were. They floated,
I see.
something that, like, I think it was even in Monty Python, it was like lighter, like witches are lighter than a goose or something.
That's funny, yeah.
Yeah. And so the water test, they survived it. It wasn't, although...
Wait, how?
Yeah.
Wait. So did they...
It wasn't told how they survived. It was that they survived and they were not condemned. They had rocks tied to them, they were dropped in bodies of water, and they survived.
They
Well,
survived. Okay,
yeah,
this is
they
intriguing, but they
survived.
weren't condemned.
I'm thinking that maybe they weren't condemned because maybe they slipped out of the ropes. That maybe it was like, the stones just kind of pulled themselves down. They weren't tight enough. So it was like, can't draw conclusions from that because witches, they would float along with the stones. I mean, she should have died.
Yeah. Well, that's incredible. So, okay, that's a great story, and thank you.
And the fact that it was just
Yeah.
the both of them too. So something must have been looking out for them, or like someone who was tying the ropes must have done it like a certain
Interesting.
way because both of them lived.
That's an
from what I've
interesting
been
theory
seeing.
because theoretically, like
Yeah.
only one of them would have lived if it was a fluke.
Yeah.
That's very intriguing. That sounds like a place where you could do a lot of
Yeah.
investigation.
No, yeah. I've been trying my best with Winifred. I think I have a lot of information.
Yeah.
But compared to the building, though,
Yes.
not a lot.
Yeah.
I'm now coming out of the assessor's office in the Wallingford Town Hall, and I actually checked with them to see when it was built. Unfortunately, I could not find who the original owner of it was because the records don't go back that far. It only goes back to 88. Apparently, it was transferred ownership.
As far back, the only dates they have are from like I think 1900s. That building, along with the numbers that it has Roman numerals, a century, nearly 2 centuries after the death of Winifred Benham.
So okay, I'm gonna get the story straight, right?
Yes.
We've got a building.
Yes.
On Center Street.
Yes.
Okay. Roman numerals carved into it. There's no
Yep.
mistaking it. There's a big demon face on the top of that, right?
Yes, it is depicted as a demon face.
And it's staring directly down into the Center Street Cemetery,
Yes.
where our old pals, the witches, are buried.
Yes, the witches of Wallingford. They're given the title.
Presumably that is connected, right?
Yes, presumably, because you don't see it in any other architecture.
Yeah.
You don't see it anywhere. With buildings like historic like this, you'd be seeing kind of like quirks, ways like buildings that have corners on it, like ways that did reach to the roof. That is the only building with a face on it or any semblance of a face.
See, because is there anything? Okay, is there anything? I'm really interested in this.
Yes.
Were you able to find any like primary source documents or anything about that face? Is there any information on that?
I actually found nothing. I even went down to the assessors, which is kind of in the basement of the town hall. They actually didn't even know about the face.
Yeah,
Along
I
with-
didn't know about it.
No, yeah, not a lot of people actually look up. Not a lot of people
That is
look
true.
up. I know I
Yeah.
have to because I'm kind of short.
That's funny.
Yeah, thing is, I didn't even know about it either until it was brought up to me by my teacher. And so, even though I even conducted like maybe an interview with some of the people there,
Yeah.
one of the 2 businesses there was a salon. Unfortunately, it was closed one day. But the second one was actually real estate office. So
Oh.
yeah, so it was really kind of a coincidence, a good
Yeah.
one at that. And the thing is, one of the 2 women that I talked with that were available at that moment,
Yeah.
one of them didn't even know the very own building she worked in had a face on it.
That's incredible.
It really
Yeah.
is. She dashed right outside and said, and she came back and it's like, oh my God, there is a face.
Wow.
Yeah, it really is.
You're breaking the story to
no,
the town.
yeah, I
That's
feel
really
like
awesome.
not a lot of people actually know about it.
No.
Like, I probably only on like one hand can count the amount of people that I know that knew about it before.
Wow. So there's a lot to be discovered here. There's a bit of a mystery because
course.
like obviously we have a connection there with the witches, and
Yeah,
it's
the
in like a
thing is-
direct line of sight, right?
No, nearly a dark land side too.
That's
But the thing is,
yeah.
I cannot find out who built it. I even called the,
Oh, the
Yeah, the
realty,
realtors.
yeah, the realtors, yeah,
I called them,
yeah.
they don't even know. Weirdly enough,
Yeah.
the person that bought it originally gave it to them without nothing.
What,
for
what do you
free.
mean? For free?
Yeah, pretty much. Just $0.
Interesting. Okay, so
Yeah.
there's a lot to be uncovered here. There's
Yeah,
a lot.
a little
There's,
bit.
there's a mystery. Does
Like
so
maybe
does anybody?
an inside man.
Does anybody? So you said there's 2 businesses in the building.
Yes, a
Is there,
salon and a realtor.
so is there anything else currently in the building? Like, is it like?
It is actually an apartment. I've been able to, when I
goodness.
searched up that building to
Okay.
actually look at it in Zillow.
Interesting.
And it's actually a
wonder if anybody
pretty
lives
nice
there right
view.
now.
No, I actually haven't been able to find that out. It says it's unavailable. So maybe.
So
no,
you are breaking some good, you know.
No, yeah, I really
some
hope
good
that when
ground.
this story gets around,
Yeah.
gets out, that maybe we could have more information from any person that lives
And
there.
maybe anybody else in Wallingford also
Yeah.
would know. Like this is something where it's that, you know, people
Yeah.
in the town, you know.
Like, I even reached out to the main Facebook page, too.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
It's those kind of quirks that make
No, yeah.
you know make
It's
walking
been,
around
like,
really fun.
I think 2 or 3 years since I was last told about it, too. And
Yeah.
it's just always been in my mind.
Well, I'm glad you're like doing something about it. That's good.
Yeah,
Good
like,
journalism.
anytime I've been to the center, even just driving past, I'd
Yeah.
always look for that building.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, because it's interesting. So the 2 witches, or well, the 2 accused
2
witches, they're also seemingly shrouded in mystery
Yeah.
due to their
Cause-
ability to
yeah.
stay alive in the water.
No, yeah, really stayed alive. But they also kind of moved out afterwards.
They moved out of
too.
Wallingford.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
moved
blame
out
them.
into like New York or something because they
Yeah, I
were
don't blame
kind
them.
of like everyone in the town was just against the woman in the family in the first place.
I think if I was accused 3 times of really anything in one
yeah,
town,
it was like
then,
I just
like at a certain point, it's
and
like,
it
you guys
sucks
don't
because they're
me.
like one of the first settlers there. Their
Exactly.
name has like a plaque in it over in Center Street too.
It's like, if you don't like me, just tell me. You don't
yeah,
have to,
like you don't have to accuse. You
know
don't
what I
have to
mean?
murder me to get my property. Come on, dude.
Exactly. I think it's really interesting because I did a little bit of research beforehand, and I was able to find that in 2023, there was a bill passed. It's HJ 34, and it's called A Resolution Concerning Certain Witchcraft Convictions in Colonial Connecticut. So I'll read out. It's a little longer than this, but something I found interesting. Now, therefore, be it resolved that all of the formerly convicted and executed are absolved of all crimes of witchcrafts and familiarities with the devil. The legislature specifically absolves the following people believed to have been convicted and executed for the crimes of witchcraft and familiarities with the devil. Alice Young in 1647, and now that's the first person to be executed for witchcraft in all of the United States, which I want to get back to in a second. Mary Johnson in 1648, Joan Carrington in 1651, John Carrington also in 1651, Goodwife Bassett in 1651, Goodwife Knapp in 1653, Lydia Gilbert in 1654, Mary Sanford in 1662, Nathaniel Greensmith in 1663, Rebecca Greensmith in 1663, and Mary Barnes in 1663, and one Elizabeth Seeger convicted and reprived, and I don't have actually the date for this one, but I just find it very interesting the way that witchcraft and the witch trials kind of
still impacts us today.
Yeah, I mean it's very.
Because that's just last year.
Yeah, and I think in 2017 for the first person the first person to be executed, Alice Young, 2017 was when she was exonerated officially by the Windsor Town Council. So it's taken a while for us to come around on that stuff. 1750s when the witchcraft disappeared as like a capital crime.
Because we're told all about it in school, but it's still as if it's trying to be buried.
I'm intrigued. Some of the differences between because we all know the Salem witch trials, right?
Yeah,
but
it's
obviously
infamous.
Yeah, very infamous. Connecticut, obviously, we have a history of that sort of stuff, and it's very intriguing to see how. Maybe, do you know if there were any differences or similarities or anything?
Unfortunately, I wasn't really able to find anything on that. It was just kind of like a classic witch trial. Yeah. Although not a lot, I guess, have been truly on the fence on whether or not they were free or not free of being accused of witchcraft. Yeah, that
is fair, because I mean, once you're...
Because it's literally just like, oh, hey, I'm not dead. What do we do with you?
That is true. Exactly. I mean, and also once you're... I mean, I don't blame them for moving out.
Yeah, that's totally fair. They went to New York, but after she died in New York, her body was brought back here and buried. You know how hard that has to be done? From New York down to here in 1703? Oh,
jeez, yeah.
That body must have stunk.
Maybe she doesn't want to be here. Has anybody thought about that? Maybe she doesn't want to be here. Because she's got a big old monument too, right?
Oh yeah, I think not a monument.
There's not a monument, no.
No. In fact, her grave has actually been vandalized a good couple
Really?
of times. Yeah.
So they still don't want her here.
Yeah, I guess not.
Oh my God! Wow, can't catch a break.
Yeah. A lot of graves are vandalized, but that one it's been replaced a good couple of times.
That's very intriguing because I moved to Wallingford only a few years ago.
Wouldn't people kind of want to preserve it as we were the last, we were the end of it all? It's
I don't know. That's an interesting viewpoint to see it from, because maybe it's I don't know. There is some
the entire reason I wanted to see if it was a coincidence or not. If it's a coincidence, it's just a face overlooking a graveyard. But if it's not, was it the family of the people that accused her? I haven't been able to find the
interesting theory.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find the original makers or the original builders of that building.
So what are the next steps? How are you going to figure that out?
Hopefully. I really hope. I actually really hope I find out if it's just a coincidence or if it was on purpose.
Yeah.
I honestly, with this video getting out, with this talk, I really hope someone who actually would have the ability to get that knowledge or even has that knowledge can actually come forward and help us a little bit.
Okay, well, everybody, you heard Sydney. If you have information about the demon, the carved demon on Center Street, please let us know. All right, well, thank you very much. Appreciate your time, and this has been wonderful. Thank you.
No, yeah, it really has been.
Yeah.